Hello and welcome to NVC, IGN's Nintendo podcast. I'm your host, Casey DeFreitas, and today we'll be talking about a little bit of news, but a lot of Smash and a lot of Pokemon. And today I'm joined by Miranda Sanchez.
Hello. You know when there's Pokemon, I'm going to be here.
Yeah, and Pear Schneider.
Here comes a new challenger.
And Zach Ryan.
I was also going to say here comes a new challenger,
Really?
but
That's
Pear
not
aced
possible.
me.
I'm so sorry.
Dang.
Well, what do you want to say instead?
Zach jumps into the fray.
There we go. We got that. We got it. So
Here I
like I
am.
said, let's start out with a little bit of news. Including, so we got some Fire Emblem news. We got 2 bits of Fire Emblem news, but let's start off with a smaller bit of news in which we learned more about the expansion pass Wave 4. That DLC is coming February 12th, and it includes Cindered Shadow's side story and includes a new house called the Ashen Wolves. Zach,
Yes.
are you excited?
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, I've not had an opportunity to jump back into Fire Emblem as of yet, and every time that there's like a new DLC drop, I'm like, yeah, this is it for me. Like, I'm really going to do it this time. This one, I'm like, what's up with this subterranean house?
Yeah.
Like, nobody knew they were down there. Like,
Nope.
we even poked around down there in the main game where we were,
Yeah.
like, going
Yeah.
through the catacombs and stuff. And we just didn't see any of these characters. Either way, I think it looks cool. I will say $25 is too much. I think $25 is too expensive for this. Like, especially if, like, I don't know, like, depending on the length, like, if it's like a full campaign, if we're looking at like another 50 plus hours.
I mean, it has new classes, quest,
It does, yeah.
paralogs. Like, there's a lot more to it. I mean, they're adding 4 whole new characters. Like, that
Yeah.
seems, for me, that's worth it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
also-
I do love that game.
I'm definitely going to play it. I wish the
Yeah.
structure of the DLC packs for Fire Emblem was different in that
Yes.
they weren't just kind of like these side stories and like
Yeah.
interwoven into the game. They were like, you know, for people who finished the game, there would be like a clear next chapter, like or like how
Yeah.
Blood and Wine was done in Witcher 3.
Yeah, talk
you know,
more
something
about
like that. Yeah, but I'm totally going to play this.
I'm curious if they're going. So those 4 characters, if you complete the side story, they will then be added to the rest of the story, and you can recruit them and play with them.
Right.
But I mean, they added Anna as a character, but she didn't have any support
Ghost.
scenes or anything, and
Yeah.
I was very disappointed about that, which made me not care about her at all.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Like, I'm interested in like chatting up new students and stuff. I think the dude that they focused, not like that. I just want to make friends.
Chum.
I
It'd
think
be
that
nice if you had some friends.
I think it's good to be back, everybody. I think that the main dude that they focused on, like the big like hunky dude with like the dual claws.
Muscles?
Yeah, like that just wasn't doing it for me. Like, I don't need to be that guy's friend, but yeah, it's fine. It looks cool. I'll play it.
I will also play it, but we'll see if, I don't know, $25, it is kind of a lot. Honestly, as last time I was really into Fire Emblem and I heard about the cats and then I just immediately went and spent the money on the DLC. So they just have to have one thing that makes me really want it. Oh yeah, the cats in the steam room. And I was just like,
Steam room's good, too.
yeah, and I was just like, yeah, this is worth $25. I can pet cats and go in a sauna, like, for sure. So I don't know.
That's...
Don't take the cats into the sauna.
No.
They might like that. Some cats like water. It's very rare.
It's true.
But it does
Hang out.
happen.
I mean, my cat does hang out in the sun on purpose to get hot. And I
Sure.
don't understand
My
it.
cat likes hanging out in my bathroom when I'm taking a shower. So I think she likes a sauna.
Steam and
weird.
heat.
I have
Some
no
cats
cat.
like it.
2 weird dogs though.
Also, really quickly, just want to mention that Pokemon Twilight Wings miniseries episode 1 is out now on Pokemon's YouTube channel. It's a 7-minute long animated short set in the Galar region. You see some of Leon and Chairman Rose and a bunch of other characters. It's really sweet and heartwarming, and we'll get a new episode of these each month.
Each month.
I know. I was like very disappointed by that.
It's going to be 7 episodes. It's like, well, we'll finish this in 7 months.
So 7 minutes long.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like 6 or 7 minutes. It's pretty short. The other series that they did before was only 3 minutes. So
It is
at least
longer.
it's longer.
Okay.
Double the time.
All
And
right.
it's voice acted. And it's nice.
Okay.
It is really nice.
Yeah.
The animation's great. I really like the different tone it sets compared to the regular anime series. It seems a little bit more mature because it follows stories that isn't about Ash. Also, Universal revealed some more information about the Super Mario Land details, the theme park, which I thought might be interesting. Zach, you shared a music video.
It's like
Just the most baffling thing to me, this video. Like, cool. Like, I got no qualms with Charlie XCX. I think, like, some of her music is good. I just thought it was a kind of a weird partnership for Nintendo, like, to choose her as, like, the, you know. But then also, like, it's a 2.5 minute music video that doesn't show any of the actual land itself.
It doesn't give you
but
a sense of the ride.
It does give you the impression that like, okay, you'll get like a Disneyland style wristband, and okay, there will be an app that like gamifies what you're doing, and like, okay, there's a lot of like computer generated like swirly madcap antics that like hint at what some of the attractions might be. But like, I watched about the first half of that video and then scrubbed through the rest of it because I was like, well, show me what's actually being built. Like, show me what but it's just not there. And so this is just like a hype generation thing for the Japanese opening. There were a couple of funny moments where like at the beginning, everyone's playing Switch and like having a great time. And then a giant pipe just like erupts out of the ground and they're like, yeah, we're jumping in. But like if that happened in real life, it would be terrifying. Like if you were riding the bus and a giant pipe just appeared out of nowhere, I don't know.
I would not jump in it.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit of the Pokemon Go reveal trailer, like the big kind of like people running around and battling in real life. So it's like you're not seeing the actual gameplay. You're not seeing the actual rides. Like we didn't see the Mario Kart ride, for example, that they're building. But you do get a sense of the style. And like we've seen photos of the Mushroom Kingdom being built, in Universal Studios Japan. We'll have to wait a little bit in the US. But you can see some of the elements like that kind of new Super Mario kind of like 2.5D look is what they're going for.
Totally.
And like that kind of sculpted look is what they're going for. And they use that in this video too, in CG.
The thing that I mostly thought about when I saw that video and how much they're leaning into that art style was like, oh, this is what the movie's going to look like. Like they're obviously going to use like this, at least as similar as possible to that art style for the movie, because like they're already training this audience to be like, this is what Mario is now. So
I was hoping it'd have more like screams of "Let's Mario" or something like that.
I did think it was weird where like in the middle of the song they just started incorporating Mario music. I was like,
but like almost like a minor key, right?
yeah, it was like a weird, it was
like, I'm trapped in some Mario nightmare.
Haunting.
Yeah, it was very
a little
haunting.
weird. Yeah.
So I know they did do a press release in Japanese, so I couldn't watch it. But from this article in Newsweek, they did pull out some like key things. So guests will collect key challenges that can be used to unlock additional gameplay opportunities, including boss battles. And basically they are calling Super Nintendo World a life-size living video game. So there will be achievements, there will be interactive app on your phone, there will be
Video games have achievements?
I know, right? Like Nintendo's finally adding achievements. Who would have thought it would be a
You have to go to the theme park to get to it.
and interactive blocks and some other things, and it's opening in Osaka this summer.
Do you think that like an aerial view of that theme park, people like experiencing that theme park would look like old school ESO or WoW, where it's just like a bunch of people like crowding around like one hub, like getting a quest?
I think it
Someone's,
looked like
running from one place to the other.
I think it'll look like the Wii U menu.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yep. I'm looking forward to this. I don't know. I'm in Japan in April, so it's not going to be open yet. But it's supposed to open in the summer.
Pear
right?
told
For
me
the
yesterday that I could go on IGN's dime and write up a nice preview and stuff.
I don't think that was Pear.
Yeah, Pear said I
think
could come
Bear
too.
told
We can
you
do
that.
it together. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
Pear
Maybe
called
can I
me
go
and
too?
Casey last night. It was
okay.
Hey guys, I put this conference call together to let you know you're going to Japan. Thank you, Pear. That's very cool.
We appreciate
Sorry,
it.
Sorry, Miranda, I forgot to call you.
Man.
Apparently.
I'm going to go anyway.
Could
I
only
will go
call
back. I
two.
will go back to Universal in Orlando once this opens here. So
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
gone in like 10 years, so it's given me an excuse to go back to the theme park.
Yeah.
So that's about all the small news. Let's go on to the big news,
What?
including there was a huge Smash Direct this morning, guys. It was like 40 minutes long.
Well, hold on, Buster.
What?
Hold
Okay.
on.
Okay, look. Let's get this over with. So the new Smash character in the first of the DLC pack of
Yeah.
this year is another sword user.
Another Fire Emblem sword
Another
user.
Fire Emblem
But
sword user.
there's a bow.
I know,
too,
I'm kidding.
and-
It's Byleth,
yes,
and
yeah.
he or she, you can choose either of the characters in Fire Emblem Three Houses, can use the different heroes relics from the house heads. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Claude's and Edelgard's and Dimitri's heroes relics, Byleth can also use in Smash.
Right.
They
so
make-
they're
makes it-
They make
mapped-
fun of the
They do.
sword
They make
user
fun of it,
thing.
and
It's funny.
it was really
Like,
funny.
yeah.
I loved the trailer.
I think that the Smash announcements are like my favorite thing that modern Nintendo does.
Yeah.
And I really like this one. I thought it was really smart that they used like an actual moment from Three Houses to frame this like announcement, you know.
It's such a great moment too that just lends itself really well to it. It's like, okay, here's a massive pivotal point when they're like Byleth is like internal and like dealing with something like potentially death. They're like, you know what, the answer here is just Smash.
Yeah, you gotta go to Smash.
My favorite quote was, "So joining Smash consumes even the darkness itself."
Yeah.
Really? It was really funny though.
And it's also funny going back to that sword moment. Like Byleth goes, gets beat up, and they're like, maybe swords aren't the thing for you, and that's how they introduce the other 3 weapons, which is really great.
Right.
I mean, the feedback from Smash fans on the internet is going to be overwhelmingly negative, not because of how the character will play or even the kind of the sword angle part of it, but because we have so many Fire Emblem characters, and the timeline of adding Fire Emblem characters to the Smash universe has been so compressed, right? Like when we played the very first Smash Brothers game, we had kind of like these top level core characters from Nintendo, and then all of a sudden, like over the last couple of years, we just got this barrage of Fire Emblem characters into the game. So I can see how people have fatigue and wanted something new.
Absolutely. I think especially too because obviously everyone, or at least a lot of people, did love Fire Emblem Three Houses, myself included, but maybe this is not the character we need right now.
Yeah.
No, it's like, we just had an adventure with them. I don't necessarily
Japan begs to differ, of course. I think Byleth will be really big over there.
Sakurai made kind of a good point. I think he said there were 17 Fire Emblem games so far, so... That's a lot of characters. That's a lot of popular games.
Right. No, but like, I mean, I'm not a Waluigi fan, but like that's a more known character because of the history of the Mario franchise.
Yeah.
Why are you grinning at me?
I just feel so bad for all Luigi fans because I keep forgetting, and it's like when you're in a big crowded room and there's like a lot of good people, and then in the back corner there's people just shouting something. That's Waluigi fans. Like they're still shouting like. Why?
When is our time?
But the difference, of course, is like the Mario games over the years. The main character is always Mario, and Luigi pops in. We got those taken care of. Whereas like every Fire Emblem game, virtually everyone has a different set of heroes and lead characters. And so yes, that franchise by its nature is just set up to have new protagonists, just like a new Final Fantasy game has a new lead character. So. It is what it is. It didn't. I'm a huge Three Houses fan. It's my game of the year last year, and like I was like, okay, fine.
That's the thing for me is like I am like a lapsed Smash player. When Smash first came out, I played it a ton and was like really loving playing online, and I've just sort of dropped off. And I think with each new character announcement, I keep thinking like, oh, maybe this will be the character that pulls me back into the game. Right. And this morning, like watching that direct, and it was like, it's Byleth. And I was like, oh, I love Byleth, but even this is not like this same sort of character is not enough for me to like really reinvest. But I think the idea that like you can switch up weapons, those weapons are mapped to directional buttons, so you can switch weapons on the fly. Maybe there is enough variety there to make that character feel like not a standard sword fighter.
Yeah, and what I like about the best character reveals and character additions are always the ones where something new comes to the Smash universe, like when the Richter and when the Belmonts join, you get this whole like lineup of great music from the Castlevania franchise that hasn't been part of it. And even though we'll of course get the main melody from Three Houses, like the Fire Emblem franchise was so well represented with its core theme and all of that, and so it doesn't feel as new or fresh as like Banjo-Kazooie joining.
Forgive me, Smashman, but is the Garrick Mach stage new?
Yes.
As well? Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, because I saw that in the trailer and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool that they'd throw that in there.
It's nice to have like students in the background too.
Yeah.
It's very nice to see.
And there will also be other costumes based on other Three Houses characters for Byleth. I think I'm with you guys. Like I like Byleth. I really like Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is fine. I'm curious. I'll boot it up when Byleth comes out and test them out.
Of anything, I think the character announcement just made me want to play more Three Houses.
A better way to reveal this would have been to do this one later, and as part of like an E3 reveal, you bring out Byleth and then you have one more surprise character. You know how like it's always fun when they play with the audience and they fake you out, whereas like with a direct like this and with Byleth, I think everybody would have been disappointed if they had done the fake out, right?
Yeah.
Like it was good that they just got to the point and said, hey, it's a Fire Emblem character. Like they didn't try to trick you.
I was thinking about it after the announcement was made, and I was a little disappointed, but I was trying to think like, okay, but what character would I really want in Smash. You know, like at this point, there's so many characters in Smash from the Nintendo pantheon that it's like, I don't know what other Nintendo characters I would really.
Just off in the corner, the Waluigi fans are
I
screaming.
don't care about the wall.
Well, and I mean, like
fighter. I'm sorry.
Even the Pokemon fans, I'm sure, have about 100 answers to that question. But like,
Well,
sure,
any of the new Pokemon.
Yeah,
but
I
the
think would be cool.
but the crossover.
You trying to
stuff,
fight with Wooloo?
Yeah. Add Wooloo.
oh
you
my
powers.
gosh, yeah.
I just God, please don't.
We have Pichu.
And no edible Pokemon either. But like the crossover stuff has been so well received, you know, like Joker and Banjo-Kazooie and you know, Richter and all of that. Like there are so many franchises that have touched the Nintendo Switch now and that are on their way in the future. You know, we're getting obviously we got re-releases of The Witcher and all of that. And so there are a lot of opportunities to integrate those. And all of those franchises, those beloved franchises, have this great music and these great stages and items and things.
I think that
love
was
the music in Three Houses.
Yeah, it's good, but
The-
it's
the
another
rumor-
Fire Emblem
Yeah,
track.
no.
Like,
the rumor was like the heavy rumor was that Dante was going to be the character, and like I spent a significant portion of my life playing Marvel vs. Capcom 3 when that game was hot, and Dante was like my main fighter. So I would have loved to have Dante in
I would have
Smash.
too. I
Like,
would have been
that would have been so perfect, and you know, just outside of the wheelhouse of you know, the Nintendo pantheon, I think it would be really nice. But also, Geralt has made a bunch of appearances in, well, I guess just was it Tekken or Soul Calibur that he was in? Yeah, but he would be cool in there too. Plus, you'd get all that great Witcher music,
yeah,
and a stage based on Toussaint.
That's right. But they're more if you just kind of look at what is popular on the Nintendo Switch now and what's coming from some of the third parties. There's some bigger stuff out. There's some bigger characters out there that could make the jump over. I'd love to do another big vote. And it's kind of funny, like when you look at the Mii costumes, right? Cuphead could have been a standalone character.
Yeah, a lot of the costumes.
But the costume looks just like him, right?
Let's do a rundown of the Mii fighter costumes.
So we got Altair from the first Assassin's Creed, Rabid from Rabbids.
I'm happy they didn't make that. Those guys. Miranda's favorite.
X from Mega Man X, Mega Man EX.
EXE.
Yeah. Okay. And then Cuphead. And they're all Mii.
That's good.
And
costumes.
Cuphead
And
comes with the
honestly,
music.
Yeah.
That's so
which is
cool.
awesome. And honestly, the trailer that they do for these they're always really cute. Like they put Cuphead in the side scrolling, and it's a shooter style, so it kind of like looks
he
like
fires
Cuphead
from his
game.
finger.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's cute, but they could have been standalone characters. I know Miranda, you're happy Rabbit isn't, but like it could have been.
There was a rumor about Rayman in the past, and it feels like Rayman is just right now isn't big enough to make the cut. But like Cuphead is still fresh on the Switch, and it was a big success, right?
I think the weirdest one here is Mega Man EXE. Like I like Battle Network a lot. I played a bunch of those games.
Watch the anime.
But it was like,
But
what's he doing there?
But I think that's perfect for costumes. Like I love that, you know, some of the smaller characters are going over as costumes. And Altair, come on, that's like how many Assassin's Creed games ago now? He's one of the more beloved
I think it's
characters
weird.
in the franchise, but still.
I think it's weird that it's X from Mega Man X and Mega Man EXE, who are both gunner characters. Why not X from Mega Man X and like Zero, who is a sword fighter from that same franchise that could be, you know, a variation on a theme. Why two gunners from Mega Man?
I want to do this thing. We're running for Pokemon fans. Go to IGN before Sunday and vote on our Pokemon face-off. So we're trying to figure out what new Pokemon what you would like to see in Sword and Shield. And we do this versus where you can vote endlessly. It's basically a process of elimination, like random Pokemon pitted against each other, and we record all the data. So like millions of votes later, we will be able to build a ranking. I want to do this for Smash hopefuls in the future.
That would be amazing.
And just like pile in like 300 characters from all sorts of franchises, like realistic ones, right? Like we're not going to get
Ashley from WarioWare.
I mean,
Ashley.
very
might be
good.
She could be cool.
Yeah.
That's basically you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'd be into it.
might be locked up in legal rights.
So there are 6 additional fighters in development already.
Lawsuit from the Sanchez estate.
And so Fighters Pass Volume 2 will be available for purchase on January 28th, and that's when Byleth will be available as well. And the fighters have already been decided. So we'll see.
That makes sense. I feel like these would take a long time to develop if they also got the stages and they want to get music going.
I love this. This is
ready.
like we talked about how daunting it would be to create a follow-up to Ultimate, right? Because it's such a big game. And like this is the perfect approach. Like if they go another 3 years with DLC characters, I'm in. I think that's so great. we don't need a sequel anytime soon until like hardware and everything gets way upgraded, and just keep adding characters.
Yeah, I think that Smash as a platform is a smarter idea than releasing, Smash Ultimate 2 or Smash Penultimate going backwards.
Ultimate?
I want them to do this with Mario Kart and do Ultimate.
I was just gonna say, I would
Give
love
me
for them
every track
to just
ever.
release like Mario Kart, and have it,
and then keep that game around for 5-6 years and do DLC.
I mean, they have so many old legacy tracks they could just.
They
remake it, people would be
absolutely
super happy
Mario
with.
Kart is ready for an ultimate treatment.
Can't believe that DK Jungle isn't in Mario Kart 8. I mean, to be completely honest, so
there are a couple of disappointing tracks that didn't make it.
Yeah.
That was a dig at DK Jungle. All right, no, okay.
So that's about all do you have any last comments on Smash? What character do you think they will add this year?
what character do I think they'll add this year?
I think they'll
What is your
totally do Waluigi. Like, it's just it's gonna happen unless
Maybe an E3 announcement.
Yeah.
I could see that happening.
This is just one of those, like, that is still kind of like a core Pantheon character, unless you count like Toad, you know, like that's a core big franchise character, even though he's on the lesser end of the scale. Like, it just makes sense for him to come across. Because, like, they have basically all the Pokemon leads. They definitely have all the Fire Emblem leads now, right?
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
I'm gonna guess one of the Pokemon starters from Sword and Shield. Now that they announce they can Gigantamax, and that will be its super.
I feel like they'll definitely do a Pokemon still among the six, don't you think?
Eventually.
They'll do franchise care. I would love, selfishly, I love the F-Zero franchise, and I feel like there are more characters like Samurai Goro could make the cut in. But we also don't know what's going to happen with the Mario franchise and whether Mario is going to introduce a new character in the next one. And I feel like Smash is most successful when it aligns with a release. Like, it creates this excitement that you get this kind of crossover. So I hope that happens, that we'll see something alongside a new game.
My vote would be for a Breath of the Wild 2 version of Princess Zelda.
Ooh.
I think that'd be really cool if she was like maybe a little more like geared towards her moveset in that game, whatever that may be, or had more of her powers from the first Breath of the Wild or something.
Or
like that.
whoever the bad guy or lady is in the new game.
You don't think it's going to be Ganon? It's got to be Ganon.
It's Ganondorf's mom,
When is it not
obviously,
Ganon?
from the Ganondorf's mummy mom from the trailer. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But we should totally do this face-off and
Yeah.
just have everybody tossing characters and see what comes out on top.
Coming sometime
Be
next.
really interesting.
Sometime soon.
Yep.
Hopefully, we'll see. So last week on Thursday, there was a very large Pokemon Direct that I very incorrectly predicted would be mostly about Pokemon Home. So we did not wait to record NVC like we did this week, and I was very wrong. There was a ton of really crazy new stuff, including quick recap, because I'm sure everyone who cares already got all their news. But there will be an expansion pass for $30, and it includes both the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra expansions. Each of those DLC packs, the first one coming in June, the second one coming in fall, will include 100+ returning Pokemon, new stories, new characters, new Gigantamax forms, and each of those areas is kind of like the wild area where there will be max raid battles and Pokemon dens. It's a ton of stuff, and it is replacing the third version that they usually do, like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, or Pokemon Yellow, or Pokemon Crystal. They're going to be these expansions instead.
So that sounds like a positive, user-friendly move for the franchise, right? Like, the knee-jerk reaction to DLC from a lot of users from a lot of gamers is always to say, like, nickel and diming, adding more stuff. But, like, as a change to their strategy of making us really enticing us to buy a third version, I think this is really good.
We've seen this happen. Go ahead. We've just seen this happen a lot with Nintendo games that we don't expect to get big DLC, and like seeing come to Pokemon is honestly just such a relief. And I know a lot of people are kind of upset about the whole added Pokemon thing and being like, oh, we'll have to pay more to get more Pokemon.
Yeah,
But
to clarify, you don't have to buy the expansion pack to port those old Pokemon into your game. As soon as
You can trade with Casey.
Well, as soon as these expansions come out, Pokemon Home will be available, and you'll be able to transfer your old Pokemon in just like it would have been if these expansions didn't exist. So just like in the previous game, and like in Pokemon Sun and Moon, there are Pokemon that weren't able to be natively caught in the Alola region, but you can still transfer them from your old games. So you can still do this, but you can also catch them if you get the expansion. So kind of like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm enjoying Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm excited to have more of it. I think that a lot of the reaction that I saw about this announcement was like, "Oh, this is just further proof that they shipped an unfinished game. Like this is just more proof that they're holding out on us." And it's like, this is how DLC has worked since 2006. Like I think it's a very modern approach for Nintendo to take and Game Freak to take with this, to be like, hey, rather than wait a year and sell you the same game that you have to start over with new Pokemon in new areas, here's a $30 buy-in that allows you these, 2 full new stories with new max raid battles and new Pokemon.
New characters.
That just adds directly to your game, and you don't have to start over and play through the whole game again. I think it's great. I think it's the best of both worlds.
Selfishly, I want developers to take all the time to get the game ready and add as many features as possible.
That's why you're the only one in the office that isn't mad about the Cyberpunk delay.
I am mad about the Cyberpunk delay, but I have more time to play Animal Crossing and Final Fantasy VII, for example, right? But like, I think Nintendo would have been in trouble if they didn't have Pokemon last holiday season. That's such a big selling point for, especially the Switch Lite, the Light Switch. I understand why they built a game that was a little bit more compact, and so I have no problem with fans complaining that it was missing some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally fair for people to be disappointed in something. We're not saying you can't be. For me, making games is really hard. Like, there's so many Pokemon. I don't know, I just like, there's so many animations, you have everything at the camp, and I know there's like a lot of hubbub about that, but I don't mind giving them more money so that they can be rewarded for their work. Like, I'm one of those very big advocates of like,
altruistic.
It's worth, it's like, creative work is really hard and it's not valued very well. And it's like, if we need to pay a little bit more to get like more story, more cool things so that they can just keep doing their things and pay their employees properly, that's totally worth it.
I think the problem comes in when there's a competitor that does all that but for the same price, right? And that happens, right? Games are not always aligned. There are some studios that pour their heart into a game and it still costs $60 and it took 5 years to make it, right? Like GTA is a good example where like they work for many years on a GTA game and you get this giant freaking thing. Well, there are people who don't like those sometimes either, but
varied for sure. But I don't feel like, to the point of, would I rather have a whole new game that is the same thing with these additions and have to start from the beginning, or just have this expansion? I'd always rather pick the expansion.
I agree with that.
I mean, it doesn't feel like this is, I mean, as far as we know, it doesn't look like it's something that we're just like stripped out and like missing from this core story. It's not like something, because there's definitely been DLC like that. Like I'm looking at you, Mass Effect, like you had a core thing that was taken out that's important for context and you had to buy later. Like that is a problem.
So the Shadow Broker DLC?
No. That was important too. It's Leviathan.
The Leviathan.
Yeah, which is like huge. It's like such huge lore for that. And then so if it's something that is like important to your game, then that's absolutely a problem. But when it's like just something extra, then that's what it is.
Yeah, and there have been times, by the way, where companies have shipped a game and the DLC was already on the disc or it was already part of the file, right? Like which to me is really icky. Like you finish this thing and now you're holding it back.
So there's definitely
that's not cool.
Problems with DLC.
I also have a question. When Game Freak was getting so much slack for there being missing Pokemon, why didn't they just say we're gonna add them in free updates later?
Oh, that would have made it so much worse.
Yeah. Like no,
that would have made it
why?
so much worse.
But like it's like we're not done. They will be available for free, like in past games, so that you could transfer them in. It's just not going to be available at launch, and they're not that. It's not available at launch in the previous games either. You had to wait for like Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Home compatibility, like Pokemon Bank compatibility.
I think they're not good at communicating with their fan base, like, to be honest, right? But also maybe their plans are in flux, right? Maybe they thought, hey, let's create this game and, we'll work on something else. And then they see the feedback and like,
I really wish they'd just have more time to develop the next Pokemon game. Like just a lot more time to figure things out, like really take advantage of new tech and just not be pressured on the cycle to release new iterations quickly. I mean, like look at what it did for Breath of the Wild.
Or go bigger, right? Like I feel like there are a lot of animations and therefore it's hard to get it done in time. That you can hire more companies to render animations, animate stuff for you, render the Pokemon. But like that balance and the gameplay, that obviously you kind of need a core team that's very tight and you can't chop it up. Like Ubisoft's really good at chopping up stuff.
Yeah.
Don't point at me.
As you know, they'll have a team work on multiplayer and then they have a team work on single player. Like I think that'd be really difficult to do for a Pokemon game.
Well, Nintendo's already doing that though with a lot of their other franchises, right?
Well, but Game Freak isn't Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand that, but like because of Nintendo's obvious like not ownership of Game Freak, but like close working relationship and honestly like financial dependency on like, both ways. I think that Nintendo could totally step in and be like, hey, this wild area is going to be developed by this totally capable team so that you guys can focus on XYZ options, right? Like they had Fire Emblem Three Houses was developed by, oh my God. Who was the developer that worked on Fire Emblem? Intelligent Systems. Yeah. And so like having the opportunity to like take those pieces and farm them out is something that like every other major publisher is doing.
Well, Smash was made like that.
Right.
Smash is like, how many companies worked on that sucker? Right?
Yeah. So they do work with other companies, but like to the extent, I guess it's like a different extent, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be really interested to see like their entire like development plans. Like, what does a Pokemon game in scope look like for development? Like, what teams do you have on this?
Yeah.
Like, just get to break it broken down to see what goes on. Very behind the scenes.
They'll never tell you that though.
Oh, absolutely not. But just like out of curiosity, because of what we've had so far, it's like what could be changed to make it maybe better or more efficient.
Sure.
But sometimes the designer also, like I don't buy the excuse that they couldn't have created all the art and the animations, but like sometimes the designer also has a vision and says, hey, I don't want this to be the everything. I want this to focus on certain types of Pokemon. I want to balance it. And I got to respect that too. But that doesn't mean that you can't voice your disappointment with that.
Absolutely. Like everyone's allowed to be disappointed or happy or whatever. Like it's your opinion. That's always valid.
So let's see where this thing goes.
But I am glad that they are adding more Pokemon is like they did in the past. So you can transfer your old ones over.
And I'm so boring in vanilla because like I was just excited. I was like, Squirtle's coming back. All right.
Yeah, man. So I'm hoping more starters come back. I'm really excited about the Galarian legendary birds. I think they look so cool.
So cool. They needed that. They needed that glow up.
Yeah. They look really
they're
good.
looking a little old. Huh?
Very excited.
You got
about
evil
birds.
Zapdos, man.
Okay.
This looks awesome.
They look really cool. I don't know. There are a lot of cool things.
Did you see that Venusaur has bangs now?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I did.
Nice.
They look great.
Yeah.
Are you trying to relate?
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm doing what I can over here, Pear.
I'm a little irritated that there's the exclusive characters are so different. Because the one you get for Shields it's designed so bad.
Really?
It's like the psychic guy. I forget his name.
Avery.
Yeah.
Honestly, like my life for Cub Fu. Like I love that little man so much. He's so great. Like I don't even care about the evolution. What is it? Urshifu? Yeah. Like I will like purposely not evolve that character just to have like a tiny karate teddy bear.
You might have
Tiny legendary
as part of as part of the story, because it's like there's a point when you have to choose what sort of form it's going to take.
But
looks like I won't be playing either of these.
It says it
expansions.
evolves.
Just stop playing the story.
That's it.
It says it evolves into one of two different forms based on the choices you make in the story, and they've never done that before. So I'm really
because one of them is like a water type, and the other is water and fighting, and then the other one is like dark and fighting.
So. Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm glad it's an expansion and not the third version, because I don't like having to replay 80% of the same game to get some new stuff, even though overall they're usually better. So now we won't.
You're a Monster Hunter fan. What are you talking about? All those games are 80% the same game.
Love doing the same thing over and over.
No, it's slightly every battle in Monster Hunter is slightly different because the monsters. Anyway.
Sometimes you chop off the tails. Sometimes you chop off the horns.
This is a red flavored dragon, not a yellow.
Sometimes they trap you in a corner and you can't get out and you die.
Exactly.
There's so many different weapons, though. You experience it different ways.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bendy swords, straight swords. Okay, keep going.
They announced more in that Pokemon Direct, more than just the Sword and Shield expansion pack, including Pokemon Rescue Dungeon Rescue Team DX, which is a remake of the original Rescue Team Red and Blue.
I never got to play them, so I'm super excited.
So mystery dungeons are basically procedurally generated dungeons, and they are turn-based, and when you walk, other things in the dungeon also move. And
so it's like an Etrian Odyssey kind of thing?
did you like
It's like the old Toroneko Mysterious Dungeon franchise.
Yeah.
Pokemon-fied.
So that demo is available right now, and you can move your save into the full game once it comes out in March. And the first thing you do is a personality test. And the personality test will tell you not only your nature, but what Pokemon you will be. And I asked everyone here to please do the personality test so we can tell you what everyone is.
Yeah.
So
It was very painful to do it.
Was it Pear?
Because those games are so janky.
What?
I know there's so many. My daughter loves this franchise. Like, it's one of their top franchises, but it's like a Flash game.
Aw.
Like, it's like technically, I like
But
it.
it's
like
so
art
style.
style.
It looks
super
great.
cool.
Yeah, and then,
so
the game,
pretty.
and then the game
Beautiful.
moves, and you're on this stupid digital track, and like it's like choppy, and like the speed, like I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to offend the
It's not your
mysterious
thing.
You're not
dungeon.
gonna offend anyone.
fans
Seems like
here, but
Pear's
they're so-
personality test results were rude.
to me, like I played a mysterious dungeon game back in the 90s, and I feel like they're very similar now. And
Sure.
I feel like this is a franchise ready for evolution. But
No.
I mean, sometimes if you like oatmeal, you just want to eat a bowl of oatmeal. You know what I mean? Like,
No sugar.
if
no
you like doing
berries.
the same thing over and over, this
fine.
franchise is for you. But I took the personality
Same.
quest. The personality test.
Dragging
Where
you
do you
as
want
much
to
as the
start?
personality tested, man.
No, right? Jeez.
Zach, let's start with you.
yeah.
Go.
So one thing about the personality test that I think is really funny is that there's like they give you all these questions with these options, you know, and like there's very little middle ground. And the first question is like, do you like carnivals? And it was like, hell yeah, I love carnivals. Or no, I hate carnivals. And it was like,
I didn't get that one.
And
like-
yeah, so
I
the
didn't
questions every time you
It's
do it, the
different.
questions are different. So
so I mean, where was the option where it's like, I've been to some carnivals, they're fine. Like, what was it? Personality.
brave.
Yeah, I was
Right?
brave. And then my Pokemon was Machop, which I really like Machop.
You're brave Machop.
Yeah, and then you get to pick a sidekick, and I chose Squirtle, obviously. Duh.
Yeah. By the way, it's really funny when I look at the feed. I look taller than you in the feed.
I keep adjusting my seat.
Are you like
because,
moving down
like,
or something? Like
yeah.
if I were not sitting down, I was actually standing. Right? You can see the size difference.
Everyone knows the pair is very
Yeah.
short.
Yeah, it's like how they did the Lord of the Rings movies. I did the test. I am sassy, and I am Trico. So I'm a
Sassy
sassy Trico.
like-
All of the questions, I had very, very clear answers to everything, and like I could tell where this was going.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they were gonna tell me I'm sarcastic,
Right.
and mean to Mystery Dungeon fans.
Okay, they dragged us. So I didn't. I also got sassy, but I am a sassy Torchic. And
I actually got the same thing.
Wow.
we're all sassy here on NVC. And
See, I feel
Brave
like
Zach
you're more
over there.
benign than sassy in real life. Yeah,
so
like
when the
lawful.
things they say about sassy people is really mean. They say, "Do your friends sometimes call you conceited and vain?"
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's like,
And it's like, excuse me.
Not to my face.
it's pretty much like, are you accidentally mean all the time? It's like, excuse you?
I was like, yeah,
Say some
Pretty
arrogant
much.
things
Yeah,
that
totally.
offend people.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
no,
They
but
were-
okay.
They're not that mean to other character types, man.
And it like kind of insinuates that you're about to like beat up the narrator too.
It's like
I feel like
it's
as a
okay.
member of the sassy community, maybe
Yeah.
you guys aren't completely sassy. You're on like borderline.
I was
sass
very
level.
sassy this
Yeah.
morning, but it's not that level always.
I redid the test as well, and I was honest each time. But they give you a different set of questions every time, and I got a different result all 3 times that I did it. The
Weird.
second time I did
What?
it, I got
What was the weirdest question you got?
you break a rotten egg in your room. Do you smell it first, or do you immediately open a window? What the heck? Yeah.
Oh. I had if you could talk to your country's leader right now or something, what would you do?
Oh.
It's like be happy, be angry, and one was like, "What?"
Yeah.
It's like keep
That was
politics
weird.
out of video games. for
Yeah.
kids.
And also, it's like, which leader? Like,
Yeah, mine was like
Well, any
take
leader.
your left hand and just grab a finger on your right hand. It's like, which one did you pick? And it's like,
what does that
weird.
mean? Anything?
Wow. I gotta take this test over. This is
so
awesome.
strange. Yeah, I want to do it again.
It was funny though. The writing was funny, like
Yeah.
how the game gets mad at you.
Oh, it was really
for
funny.
just who you are. I'm
But
like,
when-
come on, leave me alone,
So
man.
So you did
Tom,
twice, right?
so I did it twice. The second time I got a timid mudkip, and the third time I got I don't even remember, something Squirtle, but like, so Tom got a calm mudkip, and they were so nice to him.
That makes sense. I could see.
Yeah.
his
He's
being calm.
totally a calm mudkip.
Yeah.
Like that is 100% accurate.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Aw.
Aw.
Well done.
Or like Mr. Mime has a bow tie though. That would have been a good one too.
Yeah. So I don't know. If anything, I'd say do the personality test. I think it's fun and interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I want there to be a version of the test that asks you all of the questions.
Yeah.
So you have a more concrete answer as to what nature and Pokemon you are. But we'll just have to live with the short one.
Yep.
Someone out there go make the fan made test.
I feel like it's got to be out there.
What do you guys think of the demo? Since I talked crap about it, did you enjoy it?
I only had time to do the
see.
quiz,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Yeah. I've also barely played it. I played the original one and I played Super Mystery Dungeon, and I liked them, but I never finished any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When my daughter was little, that's the only time she cried over a video game. Is when she finished one of them. She cried, and then I'm like, "You can just play it again." She's like, "Yay!"
Aww.
Yep.
So sweet.
Yeah, that's really cute.
So I can't be too mad at it.
Yeah.
There's good in it. Makes little daughter happy.
And now that there's no Final Fantasy that month, everyone can just spend all of their time playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Okay.
Fine. But hey, there are some new games out this week that some of you might be playing. First, also, thank you, Tom Marks, for filling this out. I really appreciate it. First on the list is Puzzle & Dragons Gold, which is out on January 14th. It's for $15. I think it's on sale right now for $10. I played a lot of this when I got it on Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember. I've played a ton. I liked it at first, and now I kind of hate it.
How come?
So I loved the phone game Puzzle & Dragons, the original Puzzle & Dragons mobile game. I put in way too many hours. I would make my lunch break. I worked in a 9-to-5 office environment. I would take my lunch break around when the daily events were happening.
Perfect.
I spent way too much money on it. It was a really good game. Also spent way too much money on it. So I was like, oh, Puzzle & Dragons on the Switch. I don't have to spend money on it. It would be awesome. Super excited.
But
I beat the story mode so there are 2 story modes, one for each character going to the same tournament. I beat them both in under 2 hours.
Oh, so that was actually the end.
Yep, it was actually the end.
Oh, wow.
And then there's a third challenge, and it's literally just one fight. It's just one battle. So you can beat, if you're good at Puzzle & Dragons, you can beat the entire story in under 2 hours. And it's all, so in the phone game, it is all PvE. So you are going through a dungeon and fighting monsters. And in this one, it's all PvP. And so after you beat the story, the only thing there is to do is to fight random people online. And it's kind of difficult to make a team based on what you're going up against, because you can make a light team and then go up against a team that's strong against you. So it doesn't even matter. And if you can't connect to someone online and they can't find you a partner, there's just nothing to do.
Alrighty,
I'm sad.
then.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play it. I played it. What was the last version on DS?
Yes.
Yeah. So I played that one. Now, for people who are not familiar with it, Puzzle & Dragons was one of the biggest money makers in Asia on mobile platforms. So basically their Candy Crush, a game that for multiple years brought in tens of billions of yen. So it performed amazingly over there.
It is a monster collecting RPG where you construct your team to synergize with each other. And then there's a skill base set to it where you are matching different colors on a board. And it works really well with the touchscreen. I still really enjoy the gameplay. I think it's really interesting, and it really kind of pulls me in. But without a more robust story mode and more things to do, it kind of loses steam really fast, unfortunately.
I'm
disappointed.
Yeah, it seemed like so we were talking about this before, and you framed it as this is just a fake out, probably. It's gonna keep going.
It's gonna keep going.
That's it.
Yeah.
Would you recommend it to people that aren't familiar with the Puzzle & Dragon franchise, though? I've never played a Puzzle & Dragons. Is this something that I should look into? Is it good enough to warrant purchase? Or
if you really like PvP and really like those type of puzzle games, go watch some gameplay of it. I really like the gameplay, but my favorite part of it was making teams to counter dungeons. And that
doesn't exist.
Isn't in this version.
Weird.
So maybe
the answer for you is no.
No.
Yeah.
Sounds like no.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was really excited to come in here and be able to talk up one of my favorite games and be oh, buy this, it's amazing, and I can't in good reason actually recommend it.
Okay, well that's helpful.
Sad.
Yeah.
Thanks
but
for the warning.
The 3DS game though is fun. So if you want to go get that one. Anyway, also coming out is Sorry James.
Good segue.
16th. Tom put it here for a reason, but he's not here to explain why.
Yeah,
So.
I read the description of this game. Tom sent it to me because we were having a good laugh over one of the bullet points in the description of this game is over half 100 levels.
What?
That just means that there's like more than 50 levels, but why would they choose
Yeah, that's a way to
100.
phrase it.
over half 100 levels? Okay, great.
That's cute.
I'm over half 60 years old.
You are.
What? Like, that doesn't make sense.
I don't like that.
So you don't.
That's
you,
all I know about that game.
That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
moving on.
I haven't
You know.
played this. I haven't played this yet, sadly. So yeah, we were counting on Tom, but we're Tomless.
Oh no.
Sorry, James.
Yep.
However,
Super Crush KO is out on January 16th for $15, and Pear's been playing it.
I did play it. So this is, if you're a longtime NVC watcher or listener, if you go back 3 years, we had an episode, I think during the Game Developers Conference, where we had 3 indie devs on the show. I think Jose was hosting that, and one of them was Mobeen Fikri, and he worked on Graceful Explosion Machine, that really kind of cool, stylized.
That was like a Switch launch title, right?
Yeah, Switch launch title, really cool shoot 'em up, brutally hard. And this is his team's follow-up to it, and it's different. It has shooting in it. You play as, very Nintendo appropriate, you play as Karen as the main character.
Good.
And you're trying to rescue your cat. I think Chubbs. And so it's exactly like they're in.
We're here
and
for
it's
it.
this kind of like neon looking side scroller beat 'em up. Like think like final fights with robot enemies, and you can shoot, but really smart game systems. Like you can dodge through bullets or through like barriers. You can punch. You get rewarded for combos, you get finishers, and then you have a lock on, and you can shoot with the shoulder button. You can fire, and your gun overheats. Like so, very clear systems, but it's fast moving, it's smooth, and it's like. They really know how to make like create this sense of impact. You know, like in the Zelda franchise, when you hit something with a sword, like you really feel it, and they do the same thing. Where it's like when you do something and you get hit, like it slows down, and
Super cool art style too.
yeah, it's really it's fast paced, fun. It's a game that really plays to you. It's all about your skill in kind of comboing and dodging. I've played a couple of levels, really digging it so far. It comes out, it's out now, right? So if you're
Yes.
listening to it,
Yep.
but quality game, and you can see, indie studios sometimes take a very long time to have another game. It's been 3 years since we've had him on for Gem here, but like you can kind of feel the love that's poured into these titles. So I definitely think it's worth a look.
Next on this list, we have To the Moon, which is also out today for $12.
Yeah.
It's one of
It's
Jared
a-
Petty's favorite
I
games.
love To the
Yeah.
Moon.
It's a Miranda-like.
Kind of. I mean, I don't know. It's a fantastic story game. So it's kind of got a little bit of puzzle elements, but it's about these 2 scientists who go into this dying man's memories to change something for him about his life. He wants this one big thing changed, and he wants to go to the moon. And so it's about them like backtracking, like where did it go wrong? Like what happened? Where didn't he get to go to the moon? And it's just so beautiful. And it's just like one of those games where you just kind of like you're sobbing by the end. It is so good.
So like a fairly short story game, like a 2-hour thing?
I forget
or
exactly how long it is. It's more than 2 hours for sure.
compact story.
Yeah, it's longer, but it is totally worth your time if you've never played it. The third game in this series technically is coming out. It just follows these scientists on like their different assignments. So like their whole thing is that they go into, like older people's memories and then just change something for them. And so it's like kind
It's
of
like
a
an
series of
Eternal
that.
Sunshine kind of thing.
Yeah. So this is the first one. I think it's probably the best one. The second one wasn't as good. And they have a third one coming out this year. So it's very exciting to see that.
Cool.
I've
go
never
on.
played this game.
I-
You
That's
kind of sold it
Highly
on
recommend
me.
it.
Really?
It's seriously such a beautiful game, and very impactful. So I hope you guys give it a chance.
Cool.
Next game on the list is Regina and Mac, out on January 16th for the Wii U, not the Switch.
Ooh.
And Tom's note here
Wait.
is, holy crap,
Record
a new
scratch.
Wii U game. So this originally launched on Xbox One and PC in November. It's kind of like a Banjo-Kazooie platformer, but in the style of a Nintendo 64 game, but looks slightly worse than a Nintendo 64 game. But the dev says on YouTube, since there has been confusion why the game is not released on a Nintendo Switch, Switch requires a different license from Nintendo than Wii U. So in order to be able to port the game to Switch, we would first have to get a developer's license for Nintendo Switch, which is not easy for a 3-person indie studio without a publisher. And after learning about this, Tom and I went and looked for new Wii U games, and there's actually like a handful of Wii U games coming out this year still, like made by indie devs that I assume probably have a
Wild.
similar problem.
Similar deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure Nintendo will see this comment and figure out how to get them a developer license, because they've been really open to some smaller games. And if it's good, then
it's like such a bummer limitation. Like, I get it, but
fun fact: I have 2 Wii U's hooked up in my house.
Wow.
One in my son's room and one in the living room still, because everybody knows Nintendo Land is the best drinking game.
Nintendo Land is great.
I really wish my cat didn't knock over my Wii U back in the day, and I could still play Nintendo Land.
Cat. What's the cat's name?
Chubbs.
His name was Drogo.
Drogo.
Destroyer of the world.
The cow.
And the Wii U. And last we got Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore out on the 17th, which is tomorrow if you're watching it on the day of our podcast release. Zach, you played the original.
Yeah, I played about half of the original.
Okay.
I didn't play all the way through it. Very cool. Great art style. Very the best of both worlds in terms of like Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem. It's actually a lot more Fire Emblem than I think people realize. Amazing soundtrack, really, really cool battle system.
Yeah.
Like one of the coolest battle systems in a JRPG I think I've ever played.
So I played some of Encore, and the battle system, when I was first looking at the UI, I was extremely intimidated.
Yeah.
But I caught on very quickly, and it's really cool. And Encore adds the ability to speed up through some of the session animations,
Right.
Which is when you attack an enemy and it's super effective. I'm sorry, I'm just going to use Pokemon terminology. But it's super effective against the enemy.
Well, it's like a critical hit,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And one of your teammates has a session attack that links to that one. They will go for free. And you can link up all of your teammates to attack one enemy by choosing correctly. And because you can speed it up, this goes really fast. So even though it's turn-based, it doesn't feel slow. And honestly, the animations they're just fun to watch. And it's just a fun battle system. And it never felt slow. And I didn't feel bored.
Yeah, the battle system does feel like really fast. Really cool that this game is coming to Switch, because I think it did not get a fair shot on the Wii U. And it's nice that Atlus is making an appearance on the Switch, because like we still haven't heard anything about SMT5 since that initial tease, back in 2017 at that January event.
It has to. We have to hear about it this year, right? Like,
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, if it's been in development,
it's an E3 presentation, I'm sure.
Yeah, that would be cool. I recommend this game. This is Andrew Goldfarb, friend of the show, one of his favorite RPGs of all time. Really cool. I'd like to pick it up and get back through it. Yeah. I might do that. I'm still in the middle of a lot of other things.
I got some long flights next week, so hopefully I can get a copy before then.
I'm about 10 hours in. The anime cutscenes are really cool and really well animated, and I'm really enjoying it so far, and I like in the dungeons. There's some puzzles. It's nothing too groundbreaking, but you can just attack the random enemies that you find, so you don't have to battle things over and over again if you have to backtrack, which is I very much appreciate. I really like it. It's really cool. I want to put more time into it. But yeah, you can read our original review on IGN.com. Our original reviewer, Megan, gave the original version a 7.6, which is good.
Oh.
Almost great.
Wow. Yeah. I would have gone higher. But
yeah, I would have too. I think I would have. But that's okay. We're not going to rewrite history. So, hey, what is everyone playing this week? Besides not Fire Emblem, but Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore.
Yeah. So Super Crush KO, obviously I talked about that a little bit. I talked a little bit about Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD last week. I've been showing that game to everybody just to show like this is how you do a remake on the Switch. It's just a really nice version of it. It runs so well, and I have fond memories of playing it. So it's an Oddworld third/first person shooter game where your ammo is comprised of live creatures. Wow. And like it's you're a bounty hunter, basically like a Clint Eastwood creature, complete with like poncho and everything, set in this Wild West Oddworld universe. And like you are doing bounty hunting. So if you see an enemy, you can shoot, for example, spider ammo at them, this live spider, and it wraps them up with silk, and then you can go and collect them and get the bounty for it. So it has these really kind of cool gameplay systems in addition to puzzle solving, sniping, setting up traps against enemies. You don't want to be detected, so you have certain critters that can act as traps. it obviously is not a modern game, so it has like some of the hang-ups of
No, it is
not. Some of the old games, like where it feels really mechanical in progression levels and all that. It's not like this big open world game where you can go everywhere, but it's a really charming. It's a really charming game that I think was overlooked back in the day.
Oh yeah, so this game was a commercial failure. Like it was really like in terms of this is an Xbox exclusive, I think, when it came out in 2005, and
Xbox One, not
the original Xbox,
but number one.
Yeah, I think that it was like I want to say it was published by EA. Was the publisher?
I forgot who did it, but Lorne Lanning was the lead on the project, just like
THQ,
on the old.
Maybe.
Was it THQ? Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at. So I played Munch's Odyssey, which is the only Oddworld game I've played.
Yeah. So that's a side scroller.
That's a side scroller. Yeah.
Yes.
With kind of like you die and you learn from dying, like that sort of setup, right?
Yeah.
This is very different. It's not like that. There are no cheap kills. You don't learn through dying.
Where I was going with that was like, I remember I wasn't an Xbox guy, but I remember reading reviews and pieces about this game when it came out. People were like, this is a masterpiece. Like this game is groundbreaking in a way that like, we haven't really seen before. I played like 2 hours of this game on Switch, and it feels like a game from 2005.
Yeah,
and it looks nice, but like in this day and age, I spent about 2 hours with it and was like, that's enough.
Like, don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, totally.
I really enjoy the world, and I'm just really happy to have something ported that actually runs well.
It does run really well,
looks good, and all of that.
I think that's one I would actually wanted to go to because I did like the Oddworld sort of series. So
really quirky games.
Even though it's like I know some
it's
of those
deliberately weird and goofy voices,
which I really liked about it, especially as a kid. But I think it's nice to try to backtrack like and understand like, oh, this was a thing for that time that kind of sucked, but it was like a development just thing that people did, and so like getting that history is always really nice, even though it's sometimes hard in modern days.
And then to round up, I've played Stretchers. I didn't play Stretchers right when it came out because, I started it single player. I really didn't get into it. And then now I've had friends over and played the 2-player, and the 2-player is great. It's just really fun. And I saw actually Max and Brian did a video. If you want to catch up on it, just look up IGN Stretchers Let's Play or whatever, Max and Brian. It's a game where
if you want to see it, just Google Max and Brian.
Two people have to carry bodies on stretchers and get them back to the hospital. And so the whole fun of the game is how bad people are at coordinating and like going left and right and bumping into stuff, and the bodies or the injured people fall off.
Dropping critically injured people sounds like a great time to me.
Well, it has this goofy, weird plot about people just being dizzy. They're just dizzy, so they're not that injured.
Okay,
but it also plays with ragdoll physics, and then you drive an ambulance together, and depending on who gets into the driver's seat, controls the ambulance, and who gets into the co-pilot seat controls the boost and stuff like that. And so it's all about having you be really bad at coordinating, and like your friend hitting the boost at the wrong time. You're like, you hit a house and stuff.
Is it like a similar vibe to like Overcooked, where you have these responsibilities and they have to overlap in a way that works?
It's somewhere between Overcooked and Surgeon Simulator, and like how like that kind of wonky physics affects the gameplay. But like it is more like Overcooked, where you are supposed to be best friends and work together, and like it just never happens.
Yeah.
And so you're laughing a lot. It's just a really funny game.
Yeah.
What about you guys, Zach and Miranda?
I'm in the middle of moving, so it's been really hard to play games, which is why my Switch is also my best friend right now. Then I can just like plop down for a minute and play something. So I've just been trying to fill out my Pokedex in Pokemon Shield, and then I've actually gone back to Breath of the Wild just because I miss it.
Dang.
I just miss it.
So good.
It's so beautiful, and I love it.
I know.
Yeah, and then I recently watched the Breath of the Wild sequel trailer again, like that tease, and I was just like, oh, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Also, small note: Stranger's Wrath is published by EA.
Oh, it was EA. Okay, so
nailed it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. I finished. I haven't been on since before Christmas. I finished Luigi's Mansion, which was
great,
top
right?
notch.
Yep.
Loved it. Still working my way through Pokemon Sword. Really enjoying that. Still plugging along at Dragon Quest XI. Playing that game in story arcs because it is built in a way that is like
I've neglected it. I need to go back.
It's and it's so good. Like it's so nice to come back to it if you've been away for a while, because like I'll take a couple of weeks off at a time and then come back to it. I spent some pretty significant time over break playing through The Witcher Blood and Wine expansion, which is amazing. And if you have it on Switch, like there's so much stuff there. You know, I'm sure like people that are playing it on Switch are probably still working their way through the main story, but there are 2 amazing expansions for that game. Don't overlook those. And then outside of that, yeah, I'm thinking about jumping back into Fire Emblem, and I might check out Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a little on the fence about it.
Yeah, I'll play it. But Luigi's Mansion, if you didn't get all the booze and the gems, like that's a really fun co-op experience to like have a friend and you chase them down together.
Yeah, I've been kind of jumping back in and going through the looking for all the booze. I don't know that I'll find all the gems.
You need some help. We got a great guide for that.
You can buy the locations.
Yeah.
And like with 2 players, it's much easier to solve the puzzle.
Sure.
Yeah. There's some obscure ones.
Cool.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, I was playing Puzzle and Dragons Gold. I know I like ragged on it, but I did play like almost 15 hours.
There we go.
That's why I was so surprised.
Maybe not 15.
Maybe
Maybe more like I have to look at my Switch. Probably around like 10. Like I did. I tried to give it a shot, and I was very excited.
10 hours is a significant amount of shot, I feel like. So.
Yeah.
I also I would get home and play and be like just one more, and then completely ignore my fiance. So I mean, like it still sucked me in for during the time that it could. But I've also just wanted to mention I got to play some early access Temtem, which is supposed to come out for the Switch sometime next year, and it is a Pokemon-inspired MMO. And if you like classic Pokemon, where you have your random encounters and you have your dungeons and you have kind of your punishing, like it'll kick you out of the dungeon, you have to go through it again, and double battles, and you want an MMO, Temtem kind of checks all those boxes for you. So if you've always wanted a classic Pokemon MMO, I think Temtem might be for you. And it's like 85% like Pokemon. My full preview is out there, so if you want to like see more about how it is and isn't like Pokemon, you can read that. But I just wanted to mention it.
Cool.
Note is that is published by Humble Bundle.
Thank you, Miranda. I always forget about
Owned
that
by
stuff.
our parent companies.
Yes. Cool. And now on to Zach's favorite game, Question Block.
Ooh, I don't think that's a game.
I mean, it's fine. So this one is from James Gold, and he asks, with the rumors of Bioshock Trilogy coming to Switch, what collections would you like to see come over?
Ha. Mass
So
Effect
many.
Trilogy.
Yeah, Mass
Yeah,
Effect
that's
is
exactly
the
what I was
first
going to
one,
say.
All 3
Yeah, give
of
me that
the
Mass Effect
games.
Yeah.
You can have 4 too if you want. I would love to see the GTA games because they could actually run now. Like a GTA collection would be really cool. They're obviously massive games.
We've had some rumors about GTA on Switch a couple of times as well.
I feel like they would never do a collection; they'd just do a single one.
Oh yeah, no way.
And then, of course, the master of all collections would be the Master Chief Collection. Why not? We got Ori.
No, I agree.
Right? We got Banjo
Are they supposed to
Kazooie
have
and
like some
Smash.
sort of partnership anyway?
I mean, it sounds like Microsoft is getting more and more open, right?
Microsoft
Like the
likes to
way
play
they're
ball,
treating
yeah.
consoles and PCs as their platform, and maybe they're just going more and more open, you know? So Master Chief Collection would be really cool on the Switch. Now that it actually runs online, okay, and all that.
Yeah.
They fixed it, yeah.
Yeah.
So some context before this next question. Last week, we had some hot takes on our NVC podcast forums
I
on
didn't get to talk
Facebook.
about my collection.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What is your collection?
What the heck?
I'm sorry.
So all the Final Fantasy games, the 32-bit era Final Fantasy games are now on Switch.
Yeah.
I would like a Square collection of like the more obscure RPGs that they put out for the PlayStation. Like I'd love to see a collection that's like Chrono Cross and Vagrant Story and Xenosaga. No, I'm sorry. Is it Xenosaga? No, Xenogears is the one on PlayStation. Yeah. I think that'd be really cool to have updated versions of those in the same way that like
On Parasite Eve.
Yeah, Parasite Eve 1, sure, but not Parasite Eve 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Pick
Sorry,
one.
Zach.
That's
Please
okay.
forgive me.
That's all right. I just had a good one.
No, it was
excited.
a really good one, and I can't. There's nothing I can one up on that.
Isn't there some other Monster Hunter collection that you want to add?
I have them on 3DS.
Okay,
It's fine.
got it.
Like,
It's got it.
Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate kind of combines all the best of all the past Monster Hunters. So like I'm good. I'm
Sure.
fine. I would like a new Monster Hunter,
But it's like,
that's not here.
honestly, the Switch's issue is not a steady stream of old games. You know,
No.
we got
Yeah.
Assassin's Creeds 2 and all that.
Yeah.
And so that's
I-
great, but like I want some new stuff written for this machine.
I read that there are more games released for the Nintendo Switch than were released on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 combined last year.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Dang.
Yeah.
Unsubstantiated.
it's
It's Yeah.
but
That, I can see it. There are a lot of
Can too.
weird little games on the Switch definitely
Yeah.
popping up all the time.
so we have time for one more question.
Okay.
And like I was saying, a little bit of context in our NVC podcast forums last week, there were a lot of hot takes. It was kind of a trend started by someone. So this one is from Danny Baranovsky. What's your hottest take?
I don't think my hot take is I don't have one.
Yeah, I was going to
Really?
say the same thing. Like, I don't really have
think
any
I
hot
have one
takes.
that just upends people.
Even if it's not video game related.
Well, mine is Mystery Dungeon is janky. Like
Okay.
I concede you can have fun with this franchise, and probably if I played a lot of it, I would enjoy it too. And obviously the characters are beloved, but I just think it's so janky.
Corn is bad? I don't know.
Corn is bad. The band.
No, corn. Like,
Just like
the
the food?
food.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't like corn in my chili.
Too sweet.
Yeah.
That is a hot take.
It's not good.
I'm not sure either of you know what hot take means, to be honest, but
Oh,
What's a hot take?
Here,
What's a hot take for us?
I don't
'Cause
have good hot takes.
Your middle names
I
are
think I
hot and
I have
take.
like good hot takes like in the moment.
Yeah.
But like when you're just like think of your hot take, I'm like, I don't know, man.
I have one. I wasn't impressed by The Last of Us.
Oh,
Okay.
that is also my
that
hot
is
take.
your hot take.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have to talk
okay.
about it.
You
Yeah.
I
can't
just
always
think
have the
fine.
same hot takes.
Also, no, okay, even
Sassy
even more
Torchics
than.
with the same hot take.
That's true. Sorry. Everyone like says like we look alike because we have glasses. I don't know.
I
It
guess
happens so many times. You're like, are they twins? I'm like, no.
I guess in a similar vein, like my hot take is like I didn't think Horizon Zero Dawn was like an amazing game.
Is
Like
that a hot take?
Oh.
I dropped it after the first few hours.
I guess like
don't wanna play
I've
hot
said
take
it a
to
couple
me.
times on Twitter and people have been like, "Oh, you're crazy! That game is amazing." It's fine. I thought that game was like big fun. I played the whole thing. It was
Yeah,
fun.
I'm with you on that
Yeah.
one. I really like The Last of Us. I think it's
I
a
also
game
really
that
like
makes
The
me
Last of Us.
feel
Shoot
bad for
like
playing
this.
it. It's not a world I love being in, but I thought the storytelling was so well done and like the little details.
I thought
and
the opening moments
the
were super
moments.
ineffective.
Ineffective.
Yes. I had no emotion. I thought, well, obviously, this
just
thing
don't-
is going to happen because this person was not on any marketing material and we have the replacement lined up. So,
Oh, and my Nintendo hot take is like
Zero.
with
As a
the
dad.
with the exception of the first new Super Mario Brothers, I don't think any of the other new Super Mario Brothers games are very great. I think the first one is amazing. I think all the rest of them are like whatever.
That is a hot take.
Yeah. Except for that one level in the one that came out last year. Yeah. The Van Gogh, the Starry Night level.
That's
That's
one
amazing.
level that looks different.
Yeah.
Honestly, that level itself isn't that great.
But it
Like,
looks really cool.
The game has some really cool levels, but I agree with you. It's just kind of felt same-ish. It needs a fresh coat of paint,
Cool.
digital paint.
We did it. We did the hot
Yeah.
takes.
Thanks everyone for your
Those were
found
terrible
hottest of
hotcakes.
takes.
Hot cakes.
Now I want hot cakes. All right, we got to go
Ooh.
and get some hot cakes. Thank you so much for listening and or watching. And remember, you can watch or listen to NVC on your favorite podcasting platform or youtube.com or IGM.com every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, this is the only place you can.
Get
Get the hot
thing.
cakes.